What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another deck profile here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and today I'm going to be talking about Jeff's Belle deck. Belle is one of the new characters out of the DLC, the Grim Fairy Tale DLC. So if you like the deck, make sure you go to your local card shop and make sure that you pick up a couple copies of the DLC in order to play this really rad deck. It was super fun to see him pilot it, and let's get into the list. All right, so this is Belle. She's a 7-hand size, 19 vitality character, and the elevator pitch for this deck is very simple. I want my opponent to not have any face-up foundations, and I want to play a matricide and kill them. That is the deck. I want to make sure that they don't block the things, and if they do block, they get very punished. So let's just jump into it. The first card in the deck, the main kill card, is Matricide. It says it combos as a response combo first in the game. Combo response with a weapon, so it's got to have 2 weapon cards preceding it. So I could go Matricide on the third one and gets its cool ability. I mean, if you played 3 matricides, that'd be one hell of a turn. Anywho, it gets +X. X equals the number of face downs they have, with Belle flipping all the face downs and matricide being, just a monster itself. This thing can get huge fast if they have 10 face down foundations, which can very easily happen. It's a 16 high for 16. As your third attack in the pool, they probably died. This card's very strong. It's a 1 mid block. It's got breaker 2. There are entire archetypes based around this deck. If you have not picked up the DLC, it is worth it just for this card. You should pick one up for sure. So on to the rest of the attack, attacks that help matricide happen. We've got triple truculent world. The main reason this card makes stuff happen is this card says that it wants to be blocked by also getting massive. It's like a baby matricide. It says discard 1 card. This deck is +1 damage for each of my opponent's face down foundations. We want them to flip them as many foundations as we can with Belle, as well as the rest of the cards in our support. And then enhance your next check to play an attack gets +1. So if this is the second card that we play Truculent World, Matricide. Matricide essentially doesn't count one of these, if that makes sense, just because of how the math works. Yes, it is technically your check, so the number in the bottom corner, but that's semantics. It just makes it easier to play. The next attack that we're playing is 3 Rook Splitter. This card is so very important in this deck just because of the interactions we have of enhance. Your opponent flips 2 foundations, period. Your opponent can discard a card to cancel this effect. So they have to keep a bunch of cards in their hand, which means that they're not playing out more foundations, which means my matricides, when they get the +4, +4, +5, +5, +10, +10, is just going to kill them. Or they're just going to flip this says +2, +2 to my next matricide. Very relevant card, as well as it's got stun 2, powerful 2, and so it by itself can accidentally be a kill card. We're playing triple disarm. It says enhance flip. Your flip enhance flip one of my opponent's foundations and then commit it. So if they've got a if commit ability, it doesn't trigger because it is it's getting flipped first, as well as we take and we get to pick what it is, as opposed to Rook Splitter where they get to flip 2, we're flipping the 2, and then Deadlock do the same thing. This card always gets blocked, and it's very hard to play, and it's super unbelievably slow, but it does get the job done of making sure that we get to do the cool thing. Make sure my opponent doesn't have any ready face-up foundations. Next, we're playing 4 Pilgrimage of Anthropolos. The Pilgrimage of the Ant. It just says enhance my opponent flips foundation. It's really that simple. If my opponent has 3 or more foundations, which they will, I'll draw an extra card. So it replaces itself in my 7-hand size character. They flip an additional one. What more could you ask for? It's a 3 mid for 5. Really healthy stats. They have to interact with this card as well. Just means my matricides are going to get bigger. And then the last attack that we're playing is 3 Black Dogs Aim. A lot of times whenever they flip stuff, they're gonna commit the stuff that they don't want to flip and then flip the ready things. This flip one of my opponent's committed foundations. So stun 1, flip 1. So they have to be very careful on what it is that they commit or don't commit because of how Black Dogs Aim works. Or maybe they've got foundations that are playable while committed. I'll just slam the Black Dogs Aim down and then stop that playable while committed thing. Especially if it's something like Sense of Morals or whatever. Like this has stun 1. I don't want them to keep readying that card. I'll flip that committed Sense of Morals. Pretty good card. Up next, we've got the actions and the assets, the support cards, the non-foundation cards. And so they're very relevant to the flipping as well as the defense game. Our main offense game is just kill them with a matricide. That is the game plan. And so everything else is centered around making sure that that matricide play gets to happen. And one of the easy ways to do that is your path ends here. This card says that if you block with it, your opponent flips stuff, or you can enhance or move. This attack gets plus X or minus X damage. X equals the number of face down foundations they have. They can flip 2 to cancel this effect. So if I'm doing my job as Belle and I'm making all of my opponent's foundations face down, they've got 6 face down foundations. I'm just like, enhance on a 2, minus 6 damage. Oh, I don't have to block this? Cool. That's fine. Who cares? And so like it is a really good push, really good defensive piece, as well as it also does say plus X damage in case you need to sneak a little more damage in there. Requiem does the same thing, enhance commit for minus damage, and then also once per turn, just plus damage for each of their face downs. On the minus damage, they can flip to cancel it, which is perfect. We want them to flip more cards. One Coludus. Coludus says that if my attack deals damage, I flip one of their cards. I get to pick whether it be an asset or a foundation. Very solid card. This should be a one of in every deck that can play this card. Playing one Judgment Day. This card is very in for the long haul. I'll play an attack, enhance, add this to my hand. I get to flip one of their foundations, and then gain 1 vitality, and then I'll play it back. If I need to take and block with it, I will. If not, I'll just on my next turn, I get to flip 1 foundation every turn. Really good card. Onto the foundations. Once again, more flipping. Servant of Ares. In hands, lose 2 vitality. Flip one of your opponent's foundations. You get to pick. Super important. Your opponent's going to be flipping a lot of trash whenever they get to pick, so you got to pick the good cards. It also says your throw attack. I don't think we play any throws. Next, we've got 4 Betrayer of 12. This card's hyper relevant inside of this deck because of the ability that says if they block, we get to play our next card really easy. And this says if they block, we get to draw a card. And if it wasn't block, we flip cards. So if I've got like 2 or 3 of these, if as soon as they don't block, so they don't trigger my Belle response once per turn, I'm just going to be flipping their whole staging area. So my matricide is a massive size. I could say that, but that's a different card. Continuing on, we've got 3 Commander of Outworld's armies. Just once again, more flips. We're still on the flip train. This says after I take 4 more damage from an unblocked attack, flip one of my opponent's foundations. The next attack string gets minus 2 damage. This is a little scary because of being a 7-hand size, 19 life character. Sometimes taking 4 damage right to the face with no way to gain that life back outside of Judgment Day is it's a little scary. And so making sure that you time this well. There's plenty of times that this card can be dead. Still flipping, Eviscerate. Response card pool. After you play this card, you can add it to your staging area. If they have more face downs than you do, they will. And then response flip. After I'm dealt damage, your opponent flips a foundation. We're playing the game. We're going to be taking damage. This just says flip 4 more and get to build a bunch for free. It's really good at taking away Breaker. One of the easiest ways to stop matricide is to Breaker it before it gets to come out. This says knock it off. Playing Double Beast Hunter. This is a unique card. It's inside of Belle's kit as well. The best ability on this is response after the combat phase begins. Unflip up to 2 of my foundations. So there's plenty of cards in here that say flip to do a thing, a flip to do a thing, flip to do a thing. And so this card just says, actually, I'll just unflip both of those, and we'll still continue to play the game. Once again, more face down interaction. Enhance, flip. This deck is minus 1 damage for each of my opponent's face down foundations. Sometimes they've got 10 face downs. So this just says, hey, negate 1 attack. The minus 10 damage, it says that attack doesn't matter anymore. And then my last face down foundation interaction is the Snake Becomes Dragon. Enhance commit. This gets minus 2 speed for each of my opponent's face down foundations. There was one time when I was playing against Belle where I had 14 face down foundations, and this thing said minus 28 speed. I'm probably going to block this one. On to the cards that don't necessarily have to do with face downs, but are just generically good Earth cards. We're playing Double Sense of Morals to make sure whenever my cards get committed, I can keep passing them for matricide. So another way to stop matricide is just to try and make them overcommit their cards by using stun or just committal effects. And so this card's worth it. Playing double the Dark Side of Karma to either reset our speed to make sure an attack goes through, reset their speed to make sure I can block something, or just cancel a non-weapon ability. It's like a revoke on board. Playing triple Guardian of the Spirit Sword, the ability to take and pick up Oak Shield is just nutty in any deck, and the fact that it shares the Earth symbol says that we have a lot of longevity. I'll give this thing -2 or -3 speed, and then flip, discard, grab a thing that's only that I get to easily block. Very good stuff. Triple know your objective. Defense is super, super important in a 7-hand size, 19 life character, and I got to be able to stay alive. And this card says that commit -2 speed. Playing triple arranging a deal. One of the biggest issues that the deck has, because it's so reliant on matricide, is what happens when I don't see them. And so this says when I'm getting a little desperate, haha, desperation, I get to just draw an additional card and try and find that matricide. There's no inherent search or additional draw. This is it. Playing double Folktale Storyteller, it's just a really solid low block that builds down so it doesn't waste a resource on block, as well as it's a good breaker eater. Breaker says your next attack or your next card has +2 its difficulty. So if you're trying to hit the matricide and you don't have an eviscerate, I'll just play the Folktale and build it down. All right, now I'll play the matricide. Easy peasy. Double Pursuing a Vendetta. After one of my cards leaves the staging area, it's just defense on debuild. Some of these foundations are super important, like Snake becomes the Dragon, and so Beast Hunter, being able to save those cards or bring them back in, really important. Double Protecting the Protector. I don't want to get my stuff sealed. If Belle gets sealed and they can block her, or I need to pick and play the cancel. No more enhances can be played this enhanced step. This is the card to make sure that it happens, and it's a really good momentum out as we don't have very many besides powerful 2 in the deck. Last 2 cards are Hell's Reach. This card just flip ready itself. It says that matricide is not played on a 7, it's played on a 6, because I got to commit it and then I get to re-ready it. So it's just a good useful use of the resource. All right, you guys, thank you so much for checking out the Belle deck profile for the DLC and More Campus Championship. If you liked the deck, make sure that you check out the matches that she's in on the DLC and More playlist here on the channel. You can look for that in the playlist section. If you liked the deck, make sure that you leave comments down below letting Jeff know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you would change. What are your lists? And if you want to have a more in-depth conversation with him or anybody here at TCGU, make sure that you go out to patreon.com/TCGUniversity, sub at the $1 level, and we can have a big long chat out on our Discord. So from all of us here at TCG University, thank you very much for watching, and stay learned.